What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ammo's Investing Channel. Hope everyone is having a blessed, chill day or night, depending on the side of the globe you're on. Thank you so much for your time as always. Please remember, this is just fun, never financial advice. Nasdaq announced SpaceX will join Nasdaq 100 index, assuming that the company meets the exchange's requirements. Index tracking funds like the popular Invesco QQQ Trust, ticker QQQ, can start buying shares of SpaceX after market closes on July 6. SpaceX is expected to enter the tech-heavy index with a weighting of less than 1%. This should drive huge ETF buying demand for SpaceX stock. On Sunday, June 28th at 10:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Falcon 9 launched the SiriusXM SXM-11 Mission geosynchronous transfer orbit from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. This is awesome because this shows the reusable rocket launch, with it being the 17th flight for the Falcon 9 first stage booster supporting this mission. In case you missed it, let's check it out.
Falcon 9 has entered startup.
And there was that call out. The autonomous flight computers have taken over the count, and both Falcon stages are pressurizing for launch. We're just waiting for our launch director to give the final go for tonight's mission.
Launch director, go for launch.
Great news. LD is go for launch, so let's sit back and watch as Falcon 9 prepares for liftoff. At T-minus 35 seconds, all systems are go.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go SiriusXM-11.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. We're currently throttling down in preparation for max Q, the point of maximum aerodynamic stress on the vehicle.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Prior to max Q, the aerodynamic stress on the vehicle is increasing due to the increase in velocity being greater than the decrease due to dropping atmospheric pressure.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
We should hear that call out for max Q in just about 10 seconds.
Max Q.
After max Q, the aerodynamic stress on the vehicle begins decreasing as the atmospheric density is dropping faster than the velocity is increasing. This happens as the vehicle transits from Earth's atmosphere to the vacuum of space. Falcon 9 will now throttle the M1D engines back to full power as it continues its path to orbit.
MVAC chill has started.
Now we have several events coming up in quick succession, starting with MECO, followed by stage separation and second engine start, or SES-1. You just heard the call out for engine chill on that MVAC engine. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 Merlin 1D engines shut down to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. Then, the MVAC engine on the second stage will light, which is called out as second engine start 1, or SES-1. This engine burn, lasting several minutes, will propel the second stage and our payload to orbit. After that, the fairing will jettison from the second stage, as it's no longer needed to protect the payloads once we're in space. We should hear the first of these callouts, MECO, in just a few seconds.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC startup.
And confirmation of all three events that happened back to back there: main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start 1. Coming up next will be fairing separation. Again, we jettison the payload fairing halves now that they're no longer needed in the vacuum of space, and we will be attempting to retrieve them once they fall back to Earth. Both halves of the fairing today are flight proven, with one half flying for its 30th and the other for its 6th time.
Both vehicles are on nominal trajectories.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there we just heard confirmation of fairing separation, along with a great view of those two halves separating from the vehicle. As a reminder, those fairings will make their way back to Earth for recovery. The next major milestone coming up is the entry burn on our Falcon 9 first stage, which is scheduled to occur at the 6-minute and 9-second mark. This entry burn is used to slow down the first stage as it heads towards our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas, in the Atlantic Ocean. Without the entry burn, we'd only be using atmospheric drag to slow down Falcon 9 as it re-enters the atmosphere, which would add extra stress to the vehicle. Following the entry burn, the booster will initiate the landing burn, slowing itself for a precise touchdown on our drone ship. While in the vacuum of space, Falcon 9 uses cold nitrogen gas thrusters for attitude control. Once Falcon 9 enters the atmosphere, the 4 hypersonic grid fins positioned near the top of the first stage will help it steer as it returns to Earth. Enabled by Falcon 9's reusability, the booster supporting this mission is flying for its 17th time, having previously supported NASA's Crew 9 mission to the International Space Station, RRT-1, Firefly Blue Ghost Mission 1, FROM-2, SXM-10, MTGS-1, EchoStar 25, and 9 Starlink missions. If you're just joining us, we had an on-time liftoff today at 10:25 p.m. Eastern Time from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Space Launch Complex 40. And coming up in just under a minute, we will be having the entry burn for the Falcon 9 first stage. Beautiful views on the screen right now of the MVAC engine on our second stage as it propels our payload, SXM-11, to orbit.
Stage 1 engine burn startup.
There's the call out for entry burn startup on the
Stage
Falcon
1
9.
FTS safe.
On the Falcon 9 first stage. This burn will last almost 30 seconds, slowing down the vehicle in preparation for its final burn and landing. You should see the graphics on the bottom left of the screen lighting up.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And that concludes the booster's entry burn. As I mentioned earlier, we will be attempting to retrieve this booster with our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas, currently stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. The next milestone, coming up in just over a minute, will be second engine cutoff, or SECO-1, indicating shutdown of the MVAC engine on the second stage. That'll be followed quickly by the landing burn on the first stage booster. When that begins, you can follow along with the burn via the engine graphics at the bottom of your screen. As the burn happens, you'll see a drastic decrease in the speed and altitude of the vehicle.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Coming up after this
Stage
next...
2 FTS safe.
Coming up next after SECO 1
Stage 1 transonic.
and the landing burn will be a coast phase for the second stage. All right, we should be expecting these callouts coming up in just a few seconds. Stay tuned.
Stage 1 landing burn.
MVAC shutdown.
And there's confirmation of the shutdown of the MVAC engine and landing burn startup on Falcon 9. Again, this is the final burn that this booster will execute, leading up to landing.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Great news on all fronts. We had the confirmation of good orbit of our second stage and landing of our first stage. As a reminder, this booster flew for its 17th time today. Now, while the booster has completed its part of the mission, the second stage is continuing its mission to deploy the SXM-11 payload, which is expected at T plus 34 minutes and 34 seconds. Before that, the MVAC engine on the second stage will execute a second burn, which will start at T plus 25 minutes and 49 seconds. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back for that next burn in about 15 minutes. It's been a great launch and overall mission so far. We had an on-time liftoff at 10:25 p.m. Eastern Time and recovered the first stage following its 17th launch and landing. The MVAC engine on the second stage ignited a couple minutes after liftoff, also known as Second Engine Start 1 or SES-1. That engine burn lasted about 6 minutes, propelling the second stage and payload to orbit. Coming up next, the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will execute a second burn to propel the vehicle to its target injection orbit. This should be expected in just a few seconds. This next burn will last 53 seconds.
Thank you a ton for tuning in to Ammo Investing Channel.
MVAC startup.
And there's confirmation of Second Engine Start 2. This MVAC burn will last 53 seconds. For this mission, we are delivering SXM-11 to orbit, the most powerful, high-powered satellite to join SiriusXM's fleet. The extra power provided by SXM-11 will improve signal reception, expand Alaska coverage, and increase reliable delivery of SiriusXM's audio entertainment and information services to consumers in the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean.
MVAC shutdown.
And there's confirmation of MVAC shutdown, or Second Engine Cutoff 2.
Nominal second orbit insertion.
And there's that confirmation of good orbit. With that, our next and most important milestone, payload deploy, is just coming up at about T plus 34.5 minutes. So we'll take another short break and see you back here in about 6 minutes. We are nearing the end of our mission today, delivering SXM-11 to orbit, the most powerful, high-powered satellite to join SiriusXM's fleet. SpaceX previously launched a number of satellites for SiriusXM, most recently SXM-10 in June of last year. Before the break, the Merlin vacuum engine on Falcon 9's second stage performed a second burn to get the vehicle into its proper injection orbit. That burn lasted just 53 seconds before the second coast phase. We have payload deployment coming up here at T plus 34 minutes and 34 seconds, just under a minute away. The SXM-11 satellite will enhance connectivity by carrying an additional communications payload capable of delivering expanded WCS band wireless coverage to public safety users across the continental United States. And there you can see a beautiful view of the SXM-11 satellite awaiting deployment in just under 30 seconds.
SXM-11 satellite deploy confirmed.
Incredible live view of SXM-11 separating from Falcon 9's second stage. And that'll bring us to the end of our live mission coverage. We'd like to thank SiriusXM for once again entrusting us with their satellite today. We'd also like to thank the FAA and the Eastern Range for their support of today's mission. Be sure to check spacex.com/launches for the most up-to-date information on upcoming launches, and follow us at SpaceX on X. See you next time.
Awesome sauce. Thank you again for your time as always. Please have a blessed one. Peace.